Hello, everyone. My name is Valerie, and today we're going to talk about the speaking opportunity sheet that you all receive when you are assigned to a speaking opportunity. So I'm going to share my screen really quickly, and we're just going to go over the important details of that sheet. All right, here we are. So once an outreach priest is assigned, the coordinator will go ahead and send out the speaking opportunity sheet that you guys all receive via email. And that has some important information. So I'm going to just highlight a few things that you really want to keep track of, that you want to notate. The first thing is at the very top. Now, when you receive your speaking opportunity, there is a number at the very top up here that's really important. And that is how you identify the speaking opportunity. You're going to see this number throughout the entire course of the speaking opportunity. This is going to be a number that will also be on your brochures. And it's basically its identification number. So when we put this into the system, this is automatically generated. And this is how you reference your speaking opportunity. Now, this sheet also has valuable information. It has the church's name where you're going to be going. It'll have the diocese or the archdiocese in which you're going to be visiting. There is a sheet here that will have who it was booked with. So a lot of times it's not the pastor that booked it. It'll be maybe a parish secretary, pastoral administrator. It could also be the pastor. So that information is on this sheet as well. The address of the church is going to be on there. And as I scroll down, it has some highlighted items. This brochure ship to address is something that's really important. You all will call the church and ask whether brochures were shipped over if they arrived. And the address in this brochure ship to column is actually the address that we use to ship the brochures. So sometimes you'll see a difference between addresses on the sheet. You'll see the address for the church different than the brochure one. The brochure one is really where, if you're confirming your brochures, that's when you're confirming your brochures that they arrive to the parish, that's the address that you want to ask, if they were delivered to. This is the correct address. You'll see that you have phone numbers on this sheet for the church, an email for the church, their website is on there. So for any research you want to go over. But another very important thing for you to confirm and notice here is the Mass schedule. So you'll have your Saturday Mass schedule with your confessions and the vigil Mass time, and you're going to have your Sunday Mass schedule as well. There is also going to be an indication if there's a different language of what that language is. So for example, on this right here, we can see that at 1:30 you have a Spanish Mass. So that's really important. If there were multiple churches and there were a cluster, you would also see the name of the church next to the time to let you know 9 o'clock will be St. Joseph, 11:30 St. Michael's. So then you'll know where you're going at what time. Another really important aspect of this sheet is that weekend contact. Now, a lot of times we book things so far in advance that weekend contact is not there. So it will be up to you to get that information. But when it is there, that's really important to have. And your assignment notes, anything that the coordinator seems pertinent for you to know, give you a heads up about. Also addresses for those cluster locations are going to be in here. You're also going to see a couple of odd maybe looking numbers. And for example, at the top here, that hashtag 8.2, that talks about the weekend collection. And that's what we're trying to aim for that weekend. That's the goal. It'll tell you how many times we've been there. So this is going to be our 8th visit. And if it's for coverage, the coordinator will also put a couple of notes in here for you to have. They'll let you know who's been to the church before. So you'll have a list here of the OPs that have been there prior and when were those visits. And then these numbers here, we try to get a sense of how many people are in the pews any given weekend. So we ask questions like the capacity of the church, how many bulletins are printed out for English and Spanish. And that's what these numbers represent. So these are bilingual bulletins, BB, English attendance, and the Spanish attendance. So that's how we try to get some information regarding how many brochures we're going to be sending. Down here, if I scroll a little bit further down, you're going to see the material section, and that's also going to be something for you to reference when you're confirming or you get to the parish. You need to know that, okay, 500 English brochures were sent and 200 Spanish brochures were sent, so that you can line that up. Now, we've gone over some of those. Here are some other details now coming to an end here. So on this side is a little information regarding your accommodations. So we have if somebody is going to pick you up from the airport or if you're going to need a rental, and that'll be listed here. For example, this one is pickup. Then the travel time. We have here 15 minutes and 2 hours. What does that tell us? All right, so that tells us from down here, Tyler Airport, it's about 15 minutes, and from Dallas, which is an international airport, it would be 2 hours. So from there, you can kind of see, you're given options of what airports and the distance from the airport to the parish. I do want to make a note that your travel arrangements are done with Sharon. These are not set in stone. These recommendations, as far as airports are concerned, that the coordinators put in there are not set in stone. And if you have, you know, the hub that you're traveling from is going to be better to go into this airport as opposed to maybe Tyler or Dallas, then you do what's best. Sharon also is, you know, knows travel much better than anyone, and she can make those recommendations. But these are just suggestions. This is something that when we call, we ask the church, you know, what's your nearest airport? And they give us those suggestions. So the coordinator does put that information in there for you. But again, the travel is between you and Sharon. This is not set in stone. You don't have to follow this exact recommendation. It's just to let you know what's in the area so that make it maybe a little bit easier for you. Another thing that's also put on here is the rectory. So rectory, sometimes our outreach priest will stay at the rectory, and sometimes if there's no rectory available, a hotel would be necessary, and that information would be put right here. Also with the rectory, we do ask if there are pets at the rectory, and that'll be in the notes if there is a pet. And let's say there's a cat at the rectory and you're super allergic to cats. Well, then you would go ahead and stay at a hotel. And that's all with Sharon. So the last bit, and one of the most important pieces of this sheet, if there is ever any questions, there's a doubt in the schedule, there's something that just doesn't make sense or is not clear to you, you can find who your coordinator is right here. This is M. Bourbano, so that's Martha. She's the coordinator for this sheet, and she would be the appropriate person to contact for any questions relating to the speaking opportunity. She will have that answer to you much more quickly than I would or anyone else on the staff, because she's the one that's working directly with this opportunity. So that is it. Those are the most important points of this assignment sheet. I hope it was helpful. Thank you.